appreciate it more than you know. This is Real Talk with Mo, my channel. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Also, check out the Lou and Mo podcast. Do the same as well. Like, subscribe, share, comment. I love the feedback that I'm getting. Appreciate all of it. Also, check out www.cblifestyleapparel.com. That's the where. Counting billions, chasing blessings, counting billions. I know everybody can get along with that program, so get along with it. Support them. Buy some merch. Buy some of the clothing. It's also just very drippy. You know what I mean? So check me out there. Also, like I said, this is more on my channel, more where I get in depth on some, current events, things that are going on. A little more podcasts, we get deeper into more stuff. So check me out there. And we're gonna talk about this Juwan Howard thing, something that's going on. So what happened was, the team was up by like 14. They called a timeout with like 3 or 4 seconds left, and I don't know. I think this is like a thing in basketball where it's kind of like a kick in the nuts type of thing. But Juwan Howard took it like that. So they go to do the walk by, the handshake like you do after every basketball game, even every football game. And Juwan Howard is, in his feelings or whatever, so he doesn't want to go and walk and shake the guy's hand. So he eventually gets in there, goes and walks towards him, and then the guy grabs him. From what he said, this is after in the press conference, that he wanted to explain why he called the timeout. And, whatever his reasoning wasn't going to make a difference anyways, because Juwan had already had in his head that you was just telling me to go fuck off. Excuse my language. And so Juwan had already had in his head. They get into, a little scuffle, but that kind of breaks apart. So they're not in each other's face no more. All of a sudden, I think the assistant coach comes up and he tries to, stick up for his coach or whatever. Or, maybe he was trying to explain. I don't know what he was saying. And then some of the players get involved. And then Juwan Howard, who's 7 foot tall, reaches over the top and I don't think he was trying to grab him. It doesn't look like it, but he smacks him or pops him in the head. That's what started a brawl. The kids start to brawl, and then we get to aftermath, and they do press conference or whatever. They did a press conference, nobody took any type of blame. It was all kind of just heat of the moment type of thing. So I heard a lot of different takes on it. Some of them, I think a lot of them are missing the point. Like some of the takes I would expect, like Jalen Rose's take on it. That's his boy. Like they grew up together. Like I get it, right? So I get his take on it. He's kind of like, most people were like, there's nobody, like there was no blame at all, right? It was kind of like, some people were like, it's a basketball game, it's heated, and this and that. And then some people were saying, he shouldn't have put his hands on him. But we'll get into that. We're gonna watch the video, and then we'll get into it. So this is them.
Interesting finish here. 77. Oh, see it. They're going at it. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene. Oh my God. Trying to get separated, and there's no doubt it all stems from the timeout by Greg Gard. Now that's not an excuse for this, but that is what angered Juwan Howard, and it spilled over into this. And you saw Howard and Greg Gard nose to nose. I knew he was. I wouldn't be happy either, but there's no excuse for this. Absolutely.
Alright, so that's pretty much it. I think the rest of it is just them trying to quell everything, or get everything back normal, and I think they all left and went to their sides. So my whole point on this is, I could dig in deeper to it, right? But Juwan Howard just was acting way too emotional. He was just way too emotional, right? This is what I said about, and I always tell my son about, control your emotions, don't let them control you, because the problem is, especially where Juwan Howard's from, is when your emotions control you, things get physical, sometimes, you get so upset, so angry that it gets physical. And, I could dig deep into it because I know a little bit about Juwan Howard. I know about his background or whatever. He was raised by his grandma. I say this all the time, but like, men raised by, single women, and this is real talk, right? Women are a little more into their emotions. Men are more into a little bit more into logic, right? So being raised by a woman, I think, in my view, men could be a little more emotional like that, right? You could tell by all these, young kids or these men out here, and they real emotional, and their emotions get you in trouble, right? Out in the world, emotions get you in trouble, especially when you got two men that are, in that same situation. Now it's a fight, and men fight are different than women fights. So, and men are gonna take it there. So, I could get into all that. I'm not gonna get into all that, but I just said what I said. So, what I wanted to talk about was, there's no responsibility. Like, a lot of people are looking at this like, listen, the first guy, when he grabbed him, right, he shouldn't have grabbed him to start it off, right? You shouldn't have grabbed him. I know he was trying to probably just get him to understand so he can make a point. He probably didn't want any bad blood, right? This is my thinking, right? You don't want any bad blood, so let me grab him and tell him, like, listen, bro, I wasn't trying to, piss you off or whatever, right? Maybe that's what he was trying to do. It seemed like that, right? And Juwan was in his emotions, in his feelings, and he didn't want to hear none of that shit. Right? I don't want to hear none of that shit. Get out my face. We lost. I'm pissed. He already pissed. He lost, and then you grabbing him and stopping him, and now he's really pissed. So, and a lot of people were like, oh, but he shouldn't have did that. Okay, I get that. He didn't do it. He did that. So that's past, right? So he grabs him. They're done. They're not even in each other's face no more because everybody got between them and pushed them apart. So Juwan Howard has time because they were like, oh, like it was almost like that's his reaction. But that happened before the punch, right? So it happened. They're split apart. They're apart. They're not even in each other's face no more. He doesn't hit that guy. So now, listen, if Juwan Howard, if the guy goes to Wisconsin, it hits him, right, or grabs him like that, and then Juwan Howard cocks him, right, pops him or smacks him or whatever, then that point that these people are trying to make, that some people are making, especially on these, Fox and ESPN, then I get that, right? If that happens, if he grabs him and then Juwan Howard's reaction is just to smack him or something, then yeah, even though that's still wrong, right? That's still, you got to be able to control yourself in situations. So I get that, but he doesn't do that. He gets away from that. Then somebody else is talking. They're not grabbing him. Everybody around him at that time is his players trying to hold him back. Then you reach across and you smack the shit out of him or grab that guy in the face. You look like you smack the shit out of him. That's when it's unacceptable, right? And plus, you the head coach of these kids, right? These kids are 17, 18 years old, 19 years old. They're kids. You're the leader. You got to have more, like, discipline and just control of yourself when that happens. You have to. Like, that's the whole purpose. That's why you're held to a higher standard, because you are the head coach, right? You are the adult. You've been through all this, right? You've lost, got blown out. You've done all these things, right? You done got whipped, got shit talked to you, everything. That's why you're there in the first place, is to teach these kids how to control themselves, how to act appropriately. And then you go out of your way, right? You already done got in your feelings. You got in the guy's face. That guy you didn't hit. The guy that grabbed you, you didn't hit him. But you hit the guy, another guy. So it's like, come on, bro. And I'm not into, I don't know their rules and regulations. I don't know the Big Ten. I don't know, Michigan. I don't know what they do. I'm not saying to fire the guy, right? I'm saying the suspension needs to be, you gotta, whatever the consequences, the discipline needs to be done. If there's none done, then it's showing that that's okay. So I agree if they suspend them for the rest of the season, or 5 games. I don't know how many games is left or whatever, how many games they got to go or whatever. But something has to be done. And to people saying that, listen, there's no responsibility. The guy who grabbed them, there's no thing about grabbing people, even though he shouldn't be grabbing them. But I think his grab is more of, let me get your attention type of grab, than I want to harm you grab. So it's a difference, and we can't overlook that, because people are overlooking it and they're making it like, some people are, after the conversation with them, it's getting to a point where it's like, well, both of them are at fault. No, that's not true, because they didn't attack each other. If anything, you would say that the guy attacked Juwan because he grabbed his shirt. But Juwan didn't punch that guy. Juwan didn't smack that guy. Juwan didn't push him away. Juwan smacked another guy. Right? And then the kids started to fight. So, like, you set off that whole interaction. If not, it would have just been a big shoving match. They would have been pushing each other, and then everybody would have walked away. So I just wanted to get my take on that, because a lot of people, there's some people that were saying the right thing, that, agreed, kind of what I'm saying, and then there's some people that kind of like played that middle line where, and that's what's going on a lot nowadays. A lot of middle line shit where you don't stand on the side, you don't stand for nothing. That's why you fall for anything, because you don't want to be like on one side or the other, and I'm not for that. When you come on this channel, I'm standing on the side. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. But if you with me, then I'm with you. We gonna go, because that's just the way I am. Like, I'm too old. I've learned too much. I'm growing every day. But I'm at a point where there's certain things that I don't stand for, right? And I'm gonna be honest about shit. And the one thing is about taking responsibility and accountability, right? And controlling your emotions, man. Like, you can't get. I used to be if I tell you stories, I used to be real emotional, and people could set me off just by saying certain words, certain things to me. But I got over that as I got older, because I know that's not the right way to go, and that's how I went on to teach my son. So I just wanted to make a point about that. Juwan Howard, the best to him. I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but you got to have consequences. You got to have discipline. You got to teach the next generation about things, and that's what your job is as a head coach. So we're going to catch you on the next one. Real Talk with Mo. Check me out.